is 90% desire.
Well, that's a routine play.
No, it is. It's 90% desire. You just got to want to block your guy. You got to want to cover the field, and you got to have it in your heart. And if you're not playing with desire, you're going to give up big plays on special teams. And big play for David Benefield. Maybe just buries the Argos.
He's played very well tonight, Benefield, in on a lot of tackles, and now he has the touchdown, 29 yards. Lou Pasaglia ready to nail the extra points. And 5:36 remains in the third quarter. The Argos had inched their way back into the game with an early touchdown. Now they've fallen behind again. David Benefield, 29 yards. Kickoff after another BC Lion touchdown taken by Andre Williams. He'll be caught at the 31. Sean Graham leading the tacklers. David Benefield has a touchdown, and a nice one. Not only did he block the punt, he took it into the end zone.
Who wants it more? David Benefield on Michael Jenkins right back there. Michael Jenkins missed him. Benefield wanted it more. Desire on special teams. He got after it, blocks the punt, gets a nice little hop, and now it's just get to that end zone. It's just about wanting to execute. You got to beat your man on special teams.
You knew this was going to bounce up into Benefield's midst, didn't you? Just the way he chased it down. Interesting when you look at the veteran Lou Pasaglia earlier in the game. When the coverage broke down, Pasaglia escaped, tossed for the first down, and that led to a BC Lion touchdown. That kept the drive going in spite of the fact they were in punt formation.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the great part of what Louis Pasaglia can bring to your football team when you have a veteran at that position. But, you know, in fairness to Noel Prefontaine, he's got his head down, and he's got to concentrate on where he hits the football.
Well, Glenn, he's also shell-shocked. They've been coming at him for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and two weeks in a row now, he's had 2 blocks, so 4 blocks in 2 weeks. And you know, that's not the punter's fault. You know, Louis Pasaglia made something out of nothing. Noel Prefontaine has had no chance to really do that simply because he's been swamped. And that's just, it's not, it really surprises me at this level that they are that bad on the punt team.
Well, here's the deal. The BC Lions have watched the footage of what happened last week without question, but the Argos have also seen it and how disastrous it was. Why wouldn't they have fixed it between the Winnipeg game last week and tonight?
Well, in fairness to the coaching staff, though, you know, they may have fixed it. I mean, Michael Jenkins was responsible for blocking David Benefield and didn't do it.
Well, then that's a coaching problem, right? I mean, they've got a mismatch.
Well, no, but scheme-wise, they had a guy on a guy, but their guy didn't get the job done, and that was a problem. So that's execution in some ways.
Heat's on Kemp as he fires here. Andrew English made a couple of key catches, and John Heward has to be simmering on the sidelines without any question.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. You know, when the coaches go to the board, okay, and they start to put up the X's and O's on the board, or they line up the punt team. Michael Jenkins is a running back who has to block David Benefield on offense. So they think to themselves, well, listen, he's got to block him on offense occasionally. He can block him on our punt team. You draw it up that way, and if you can't do it.
Kemp the out. Made the catch. Did he stay in? Kerwin is arguing his case, and the argument has been resolved. No catch.
Well, you got to think that, you know, sort of tongue-in-cheek in some ways, but John Heward may want to gamble on every third down because punting is not an option for him really anymore.
Argos came out third quarter, got within 8 points. Big touchdown by Darryl Mitchell, and they've handed 2 right back to the BC Lions and now trail by 22. Here's Kemp, second and long. Lions are everywhere. Kemp, no chance to make a completion to English on the sideline. There are markers down. Back in the Lions secondary. English having a pretty nice night. 6 catches, 74 yards. John Heward having another one
illegal
of those miserable evenings.
BC 56. First down.
Well, That'll perk him up a little bit for a moment.
Well, Benefield's still excited. He's still out there. Hey, he went over, grabbed one of the receivers, said, "You see my touchdown?" "Oh, sorry, I got to let go of you." It's just not, you know, you got to win at least 2 out of 3 phases. Offense, defense, special teams. The Argos are losing 2 out of 3 right now.
And that's why they're down 22. But they get a first down out of the penalty. And a completion out at the 55, but it's only good for a couple of yards. Daryl Mitchell made the catch.
Well, take a look at what the Argos in the last little while. I mean, they go out to Saskatchewan week 1 and do a nice job rushing the football and win that game. And then since then, look at this. I mean, and you can take this game right here and just say special teams, or they probably win that game, that tie. But it has been a horror show since week 1.
And giving up way too many points along the way. Jimmy Camp on 2nd and 7. Big run right here for Ryan Terry. Still going as they slide Terry into the backfield.
You know, John, the offense for the Argos has not played too badly. They haven't finished drives, but, you know, think back to the big play to Daryl Mitchell. Michael Jenkins is putting together a nice game. You know, and Ryan Terry has a nice play right here and executes it well. They're not playing too badly. I say they're holding their own in that phase. They're just losing special teams badly, and defense is not playing well either.
Jenkins was having a pretty good night until you circled him a few moments ago on the punt team.
Yeah, exactly.
25 yards the gain. Here's Kemp going for it all. Mitchell end zone. Yes, touchdown Argos. He's a big play guy. 29 yards if it stands because there's a marker down.
Well, they're saying it may go against the Lions here. Touchdown stands.
Offside. BC 99. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
Jason Kralt jumped offside, so the touchdown stands, and they're going for 2. Another big play from their big play guy, Daryl Mitchell.
2:19 to go, 3rd quarter. Jimmy Camp has moved the team at times. Mitchell, 6 catches, 29 yards, 2 big ones for 2 touchdowns.
129, yeah.
Yeah, did I say more than that?
You said 29.
Oh, well,
you don't want to rip him off 100 yards.
No, I certainly don't.
He might run up here. Well, you go for 2, try and get as many points and get back in this game. Again, offensively, not a terrible outing for the Argos.
Down by 16, so 2 more makes it a 2-touchdown game. If Kemp can connect here, and he does, Mitchell looked to be wrapped up right on the goal line. Nice little move to get away for 2 points.
You know, Jimmy Kemp should just look for him every play because he was covered there and just fought off the defender to get the football. And I'm not sure what John Heward is arguing about right now. They got the 2 points.
They gave him the 2 points, no question about that. He's angry about the clock.
Well, he's angry about the clock because their battle now is not just against the Lions, it's also against the clock to try and come back.
Watch the play by Mitchell here.
Raphael Robinson a little shallow again. Mitchell in the back. Yeah, that's a tough catch. That's looking over your shoulder.
And then looking back the other way, right?
Yeah, little one-on-one.
There
You got to
you
go back over your shoulder and kind of fade back towards the ball. Concentrate, look it right in, and then go off and fight off a defender for the 2 points. 8 points for Daryl Mitchell. He add up the other touchdown, and now he's got 14 points on the night all by himself. 14 of the 19 they have.
Well, they're trying to get the Lion fans a little more involved here. All of a sudden, 22-point lead has diminished a little bit. 6 plays, 78 yards. Mitchell gets his 2nd touchdown of the game, and the Argos kick it away to Damon Allen and company. Chuck Levy has a head of steam and lots of yardage in front on a deep kick. Levy is brought down at about the 40. Ball squirts loose. Argos say they have it, and it looks like they might.
John, Noah Prefontaine took it out of there. He was the first guy that came up and put the hit on Chuck Levy. if you can believe that. I mean, he loves to get involved on the coverage. And I'm pretty sure it was him that ripped it out. There was a pile there, but I thought it was Prefontaine. Just watch this. He's going to come to the right. Okay, go ahead and roll and watch up here. Watch right up here. Comes Levy. See number 1? See, there's number 1 right there. See, watch this. Big hit right there from your kicker, and then he rips it out right with his right arm right there. He's pulling it out. He's fighting for the football. No, Prefontaine makes the play.
And gets the ball back for the Argos inside the BC 40. Jimmy Kemp will have a first down or close to it. Benefield came up to make the tackle, but it looked like Kemp had all kinds of real estate.
Well, talk about a change of events here. Jimmy Kemp finds Daryl Mitchell. They make a play on special teams, and in some ways you think they deserve one. The way they played, giving up a couple blocks on the punt team, but this was the kickoff team, and the kicker made the big play.
2 weeks ago, Noel Prefontaine was the leading active special teams tackler for the Argonauts, and when your kicker is doing that for you from special teams, maybe you have to rework the special teams just a little bit.
Well, he's a great athlete. He was a defensive back at San Diego State. Knows how to tackle, and that was a good head-to-head tackle. Kept fighting for the football. Now Jimmy Kemp just has to capitalize on the big play from Noel Prefontaine.
And up for the first down. Prefontaine has given the Argos a chance to get back in this thing. 17 of 25, 252 for Jimmy Kemp. And there was a time when he was really struggling and only completed 1 of 6. Kemp, one-on-one back there, dodges a couple, completes it, but it's out of bounds. Kerwin went up, brought it down. However, he was on the white stuff.
You know, Kemp is scrambling well this year. He's not necessarily a runner. He's run the ball 15 times coming into this game, but he averages 8.5 yards. Look at his good feet, though. Herman Smith had him. Steve Anderson had him. You know, and he gets it out of there. He threw it out of bounds, but he saved a big loss.
Great play.
8.5 yard rushing average is sort of Damon Allen, Tracy Ham kind of rushing numbers for a quarterback.
Not noted as a running quarterback. 2nd and 10 Argos. There's the catch. There's the touchdown. That's 3 on the night for Daryl Mitchell. And his place has gone a little quiet.
Oh, baby.
3 touchdowns for Daryl Mitchell. And something is going right for the Lions.
All of a sudden.
For the Argos all of a sudden.
It's a 7-point game all of a sudden, and slipping away a game that Greg Mons had well in hand. He's just going to come across the middle. Daryl Mitchell finds the zone right in behind to the right of your screen. David Benefield comes up with the catch, and then again does something with the football once he has it.
BC Lions had a 22-point lead midway through this quarter, and it has evaporated down to 33-25 now. It's back to 8.
John, you mentioned Jimmy Kemp struggling late in the first half.
Well, I thought he started well. First quarter he was okay, and then all of a sudden
and then late in the first half he started throwing the ball high and behind, and the patterns haven't changed, because look where this ball ends up in Daryl Mitchell's hands. He's going to come into the middle of your screen. Like, look, watch this. Comes across now. At the end of the first half, the ball was behind the receiver from Kemp. See, that one was out in front, so that Daryl Mitchell reaches down, but he doesn't have to stop running. He doesn't have to stop his momentum. He goes down, he catches it. He still has his momentum to get to the end zone. So Kemp has honed out the target. He's got his focus back.
27-yard touchdown for Mitchell. 161 yards and receptions on the night. And the Lions are not on the ropes down by a touchdown, but they really have to do something in response here.
No question. Now, sometimes, though, you just have to adjust your sights on the gun, right? Like the guns the sights could be out a little bit. You're shooting the gun and you're missing the target a little bit. You just adjust the sights. Now, Greg Mons needs his quarterback to do the same.
Yeah. 16 seconds to go, third quarter. Cunningham, not quite around the corner. He's out near the 43. That's where the Lions and Damon Allen begin. Allen has played well tonight. He really has to respond here. Lots of time left.
Well,
the whole quarter to go, but he needs some first downs and a chance to regain some field position if he can't get some points on the board.
Well, he hasn't been on the field, and he's just watched his lead disappear. Hasn't had a chance to be out there. But the last time Kemp did put that drive together, he came back and scored one of his own. See if he can do it again.
A little quiet, as I said moments ago. Feels like we're doing golf all of a sudden.
Yes, everyone's whispering.
See if the Lions can rebound. Should be final play of the third quarter. Sean Millington for about 5. Calvin Tagle was waiting, number 73. Can't see a flag anywhere down there.
Well, they're going to try and sneak a play on the
zeros
clock
are,
says, the clock says 0.
Zeros are on the clock.
So now they're going to have to adjust that. Timekeeper's sleeping tonight. Well, now they'll call the end of the quarter.
Now they call the end
All
of the
right,
quarter.
they made up their mind.
You know what? He had to adjust the sights
of his gun.
He had no bullets. John Hewart hanging in with his Toronto Argonauts. A quarter to go.
The CFL live on TSN at the quarter. Brought to you by New Arctic Ice, the invigorating new fragrance of the Gillette series. It's beyond refreshing.
Well, let's be honest. If this was Calgary in the lead in the third quarter, you guys could have gone to bed about a half an hour ago. But there's a reason BC has lost 4 games in a row, and we're seeing it right now. And Toronto's kind of becoming like the cardiac kids. They came back last week against Winnipeg, and if nothing else, they sure make it interesting.
Yeah, they do. And I want to talk about a couple of guys with the Argos. Is Daryl Mitchell explosive or what? You know, Matt Donegan talked about the importance of throwing the ball deep. Well, you got 2 touchdowns to Mookie, and what does that do? That opens it up underneath. You saw him on the dig route, the 7 route. He gets an easy score, 3 touchdowns. Get the ball to him. The other guy, Noel Prefontaine. All the jokes about kickers, hey, he's a football player. Last year, early in the season, he led us in special teams tackle. That turnover that he created, that could be the key to the game.
Matt, you talked before the game about players taking responsibility on the Lions, and we have seen a couple step it up.
Yeah, we really have, and I'm pointing out right now David Benefield. I see him playing with more emotion, more passion. I think he's gone home, and he made a concentrated effort to say, hey, I'm going to put this team on my shoulders, play some more with some more passion, and see if I can't just take this thing and spark my teammates. And he's had a great game. He's making plays, blocking punts. He's involved, Chris.
And this is the time where your veteran quarterback, Damon Allen, has to take over, but not just him. You have 2 big running backs, and you have 5 offensive linemen that have a lot of experience in the Canadian Football League. This is the time. They're going to have 4 possessions at least in this fourth quarter. If they lose this game, that emphasis will go right to those veteran players, James.
Man, if they lose this game, that would be an absolute disaster. There is something to be said for 2 bad teams playing each other. Desperation is sometimes fun to watch, and we may have it in the fourth quarter of this one. Back to BC Place.
Well, so you want to be a football coach. These 2 guys are on the hot seat. John Hewart, Greg Mons. This is the first of a back-to-back series between these 2 teams, and if one of these guys loses both, there's going to be, huge pressure. Here's Damon Allen, and Don Blair has his first catch of the night.
You know, John, I seriously do not agree with firing coaches during the season. I don't think it does anything, and I went through a couple as a player in Saskatchewan when coaches were fired midway. I think all it does is really appease the fans. It just is sort of a quick fix. And I don't agree with it, but you're absolutely right. If one of these teams loses both games in this week and next week, you got to wonder.
Now, the fun for us is we're going right down to the wire on this game.
Absolutely.
Game 1 of the series. Allen, nice fake. Drummond the catch. Squeezed away from 1 tackle and comes up short of the first down. Martavius Houston looked like he had him wrapped up.
Well, this column here had the advantage until like late in that third quarter. All of a sudden, this column takes off. You know, like, I think the net yards were in the Lions' advantage, and then a couple of Daryl Mitchell plays later, they blow right by the Lions.
Second down. Damon Allen. This one's up for grabs and right into the midst of Antonio Bonner. Antonius Bonner makes the catch, the interception, and Damon Allen floated that out there for someone. I don't know who. Oh, boy. This guy had a 22-point lead partway through the third quarter. Now he's lost a few points. He leads by a touchdown, and he's lost the football, too. Antonius Bonner has given the Argonauts the football again. His third interception of the season. This one looked easy.
You know, John, when your team is struggling, you ask your players to look within and make sure they come out fighting. Backs against the wall. I'll tell you one thing, Antonius Bonner came to play tonight.
Don Blair was the intended receiver there. I don't know if there was a mix-up between quarterback and receiver, but Blair was nowhere near where the football ended up, which was Antonius Bonner's hands. First down for Kemp and the Argonauts. There are penalty markers everywhere down there, and holding is a pretty good bet right now.
Yeah, that'll be holding. But, you know, just to go back to Antonius Bonner, coaches will always, when a team is struggling, look at who keeps fighting and who comes out and who shows up ready to play. And Antonius Bonner's interception is just sort of a little payday for some play earlier in the game. I mean, this is a guy who's put on some big hits in this game. This is earlier.
Jason Crum gets hammered.
And then it was Don Blair's turn.
Whoa. And it's lucky there's not a 30 playing for the BC Lions
well,
because he'd be after him. 10, 20, 30.
Antonius Bonner came to play in this game. And what you hope is that the rest of the players feed off him.
Argo's looking at 2nd and 14. And this was not solid strategy. Ryan Terry wrapped up by Ramando Stallings.
San Diego State product, 6'7", 285 pounds. This is a guy who's been in training camp in the game for the first time, is rotated into the lineup, giving Herman Smith, Steve Anderson, and Marvin Thomas a bit of a blow, and comes up with a big play. It was a play to just sort of cut your losses, I think, for the Argos to run the ball.
They were looking at 2nd and 14. And
yeah, you just cut your losses and punt the ball away, and you know, maybe Noel Prefontaine makes another play for you, but this has been their worst team, the punt team.
Well, and Noel Prefontaine is standing back there having 2 blocked already tonight.
Oh, man, almost again.
Another penalty flag is down. Jimmy the Jet Cunningham spinning across the 45 to about the 47. 7 on the return. And Wayne Shaw made the tackle.
Well, they were close again, John. The Lions put another rush on them.
We'll sort out the penalties when we return to the stadium at BC Place. This one will go right down to the wire.